IBC code. Carriage of chemical in book is covered by regulations in SOLAS Chapter 7. Carriage of dangerous goods in MARPOL Annex 2. Regulations for the control of pollution by noxious liquid substances in book. Both conventions require chemical tankers built after 1 July 1986 to comply with the International Code for the Construction and Equipment of Ships Carrying Dangerous Chemicals in book, IBC Code. The IBC Code provides an international standard for the safe carriage in book by sea of dangerous chemicals and noxious liquid substances, listed in Chapter 17 of the Code. To minimize the risk to ships, their crews, and the environment, the Code prescribes design and construction standards of ships and the equipment they should carry, with due regard to the nature of the products involved. In December 1985, by Resolution MEPC 1922, the Code was extended to cover marine pollution aspects and applies to ships built after 1 July 1986. In October 2004, IMO adopted revised MARPOL Annex 2 regulations for the control of pollution by noxious liquid substances in book. This incorporates a categorization system for noxious and liquid substances, and it entered into force on 1 July 2007. Consequential amendments to the International Book Chemical Code (IBC Code) were also adopted in October 2004, reflecting the changes to MARPOL Annex 2. The amendments incorporate revisions to the categorizations of certain products relating to their properties as potential marine pollutants, as well as revisions to ship type carriage requirements following their evaluations by the Evaluation of Hazardous Substances Working Group. Ships subject to the code shall be designed to one of the following standards. First, a Type 1 ship is a chemical tanker intended to transport Chapter 17 products, with every severe environmental and safety hazards, would require maximum preventive measures to preclude an escape of such cargo. Number 2, a Type 2 ship is a chemical tanker intended to transport Chapter 17 products with appreciably severe environmental and safety hazards which required significant preventive measures to preclude an escape of such cargo. 3. A Type 3 ship is a chemical tanker intended to transport Chapter 17 products with sufficiently severe environmental and safety hazards which require a moderate degree of containment to increase survival capability in a damaged condition. Thus, a Type 1 ship is a chemical tanker intended for the transportation of products considered to present the greatest overall hazards, and Type 2 and Type 3 for products of progressively lesser hazards. Accordingly, a Type 1 ship shall survive the most severe standard of damage, and its cargo tank shall be located at the maximum prescribed distance inboard from the shale plating. So that's the IBC code. And Code of Construction Equipment of Ships Carrying Dangerous Chemicals and Book, or the BCH code. Under Regulation 11 of Annex 2 to MARPOL 7378, chemical tankers constructed before 1 July 1986 must comply with the requirements of the Code for the Construction and Equipment of Ships Carrying Dangerous Chemicals in Book, or BCH code. The predecessor of the IBC code, the BCH code, remains as a recommendation under the 1974 SOLAS Convention. The International Maritime Dangerous Goods, or IMDG code. The International Convention of the Safety of Life at Sea, 1974 SOLAS as amended, deals with various aspects of maritime safety and contains in Chapter 7 the mandatory provisions governing the carriage of dangerous goods in package form. The carriage of dangerous goods in package form shall comply with the relevant provisions of the International Maritime Dangerous Goods (IMDG) CODE, which is considered as extension to the provisions of SOLAS Chapter 7. Furthermore, the International Convention of the Prevention of Pollution from Ships 1973, as modified by the Protocol of 1978 relating thereto, MARPOL, which contains in its Annex 3 mandatory provisions for the prevention of pollution by harmful substances carried by sea in package form, prohibits the carriage of harmful substances in ships except in accordance with the provisions of MARPOL Annex 3, which are also extended in the IMDG Code. The IMDG was developed as an international code for the maritime transport of dangerous goods in package form, in order to enhance and harmonize the safe carriage of dangerous goods and to prevent pollution to the environment. The code sets out and detail the requirements applicable to each individual substance, material, or article covering matters such as packing, container, traffic, and stowage, with particular reference to the segregation of incompatible substances. The code was initially adopted in 1965 as recommendatory instrument. It was in 2002 that the General Assembly at its 17th session adopted by Resolution A716, the IMDG Code, and decides to give it a mandatory status under the umbrella of SOLAS Convention from 1 January 2004. However, some parts of the code remain recommendatory. Appendix B. Since its introduction in 1965, the IMDG Code has undergone many changes both in appearance and content to keep pace with the ever-changing needs of the industry. Amendments which do not affect the principles upon which the code is based may be adopted by the Maritime Safety Committee alone. Thus, IMO can respond to transport developments in reasonable time. Amendments to the IMDG Code are made E&T Group on a 2-year cycle. These are mainly originated from two sources: proposals submitted directly to IMO by member governments and amendments required to take account of changes to the United Nations recommendations on the transport of dangerous goods, which sets the basic requirements for all transport modes. The IBC Code, BCH Code, and IMDG Code are all international codes that pertain to the safe transportation of dangerous goods and chemicals, including provisions for maritime pollution preventions. However, they serve different purposes and have different applications. IBC Code, International Code for the construction and equipment of ships carrying dangerous chemicals in bulk. First purpose. The IBC Code is primarily focused on the construction and equipment of chemical tankers used for the bulk transportations of dangerous chemicals. It provides design and safety standards for these vessels. 2. Applicability. The IBC Code is applicable to chemical tankers carrying dangerous chemicals in bulk. It classifies chemicals into categories Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, based on their properties, which determines the type of chemical tankers required for safe transport. 3. Marine pollution. The IBC Code includes specific requirements for preventing marine pollution from chemical tankers. It addresses issues related to cargo containment, discharge restrictions, tank washing procedures, and safety measures to prevent chemical spills and environmental contamination. BCH Codes, Code for the construction and equipment of ships carrying dangerous chemicals in bulk. A purpose. The BCH Code is an older code that primarily addresses the construction and equipment of chemical tankers and provides operational guidance for the safe carriage of dangerous chemicals. Applicability. Like the IBC code, the BCH code is applicable to chemical tankers. However, its use has been largely sur- superseded by the IBC code, which is more up to date and comprehensive. Marine pollution. The BCH code, while it does address construction and equipment related to cargo containment, ventilation, and safety measures, also includes operational guidelines that directly contribute to the prevention of maritime pollution. However, its focus is not as strong on this aspect as the IBC code. IMDG code, International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code. Purpose. The IMDG code is different from the IBC and BCH codes in that it is not vessel-specific. Instead, it is a global code that provides guidelines for the safe transportation of dangerous goods by sea. It applies to all types of vessels, not just chemical tankers. Applicability. The IMDG code is applicable to all ships carrying dangerous goods, including container ships, general cargo vessels, and chemical tankers. It covers a wide range of dangerous goods, not limited to chemicals. Marine pollution. The IMDG code includes provision for the safe handling, stowage, and carriage of dangerous goods to prevent spills and pollution. It provides detailed packaging, labeling, and placarding requirements for dangerous goods, as well as emergency response and incident reporting procedures in the event of an incident.